user actually quite a bit. You know, the guy's a hard worker. You know, he had a bit of a blow up in the thread about not being invited to various tournaments and things like that, but he's made his way into this one, and he managed to knock GanZi down, which is good. There's certainly nothing wrong with that at all. GanZi is definitely no pushover. So I'm intrigued to see where he goes. I actually heard he might be possibly moving into a team house somewhere at some point, so we'll see how that turns out for him. But anyway, it is our pleasure to welcome you to Daybreak and some good TVZ action. This is guaranteed to be a good game between this fellow right here to the southwest, the legend himself, the IPL 3 champion, E.G. Stephano in the blue trunks versus his opponent in the red. It is, of course, Complexity's GanZi up to the northeast playing Terran.
So Stephano back at where it all begun. And IPL 3 was his first major tournament.
That was his breakthrough, certainly. He was known in Europe for being an absolutely phenomenal player.
Yeah, and he smashed, what was his name, the Zoo player? It's on the tip of my tongue. In the finals.
Of IPL 3?
Yeah. Wasn't Curious.
No, wow, it has actually been so long.
God damn it,
Unbelievable.
I don't know why I've forgotten it.
Seems like IPL 3 was only yesterday.
Oh, it's mind-boggling.
It's bugging you now, isn't it? It was 4-0, right?
Yeah,
if I recall correctly.
I can't remember who it was.
Why has it disappeared from my mind as well? I should know this.
Never mind. Anyway, Complexity GanZi, of course, a great Terran player, is going to open up Command Center first on a big map.
Yep, of course.
And we'll see how this is going to shape out. This is still a best of 3. The loser goes home.
It was lucky. FXO lucky 4-0.
That's right. Yeah. I thought Curious, but lucky, that's right.
Yeah, it was FXO Lucky, who has kind of sadly fallen out of the scene lately. I haven't really seen much from Lucky since IPL 3.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Barracks down for GanZi. Usually if you go Command Center first, you'll always throw down a second barracks, but we'll see.
Yeah, second barracks is basically, if you don't get a second barracks, you run the risk of getting overrun by Zerglings. In this game, it doesn't look like he's going to get a second barracks.
Yeah,
he's going to run that risk. But at the same time, you know, Stephano's got an extractor into spawning pool, so or spawning pool. Extractor just after spawning pool, and he hasn't or doesn't want to build any fast lings. I doubt he'll save lava. He'll probably get 2 lings, and that's it.
It seems like there's kind of a little bit of metagaming going on here. I feel GanZi, if I recall correctly, GanZi actually did run into Stephano in the Lone Star Clash, and I'm pretty sure, you know, obviously since he won Lone Star Clash, Stephano, it definitely went in his favor. But I think it was pretty brutal actually, and I have a feeling GanZi has a few tricks up his sleeve now. This CC first and 1 barracks play seems like Stephano opens up the same way every time. I'm going to deliberately exploit that to try and cut so many corners to get that economic edge that I need.
And Stephano didn't even build a 3rd base or build lings, and he's actually thrown down a roach warren. So, you know, he could have easily gone for Zergling speed here and just played it off that, but he's gone for the roach warren. So Stephano's going to open up with about 8 roaches.
Yeah.
And then he'll go back to droning, because obviously without Zergling speed, without being a nest follow-up, that won't come.
Yep.
So it's like 8 roach attack.
This is going to hit harder than it should. Like, here's the information that Stephano currently has. He knows CC first. Yeah? He is aware of that. What he doesn't know is how many racks is behind it. He definitely, and this is what scares the crap out of me. GanZi actually could lose right now, and the reason being that he's gone 2 Marines on 1 racks into Reactor, and he's going Reactor Hellion, and he's going to run into an 8 roach rush on 2 bases, and he has no way to stop that. Like, this could be over very, very quickly here.
He should be able to get like 4 Hellions out by the time it comes, or it would be an odd number, sorry, so it'll be like 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And then with SCVs will die, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly.
He can always evacuate, I guess, the natural and survive in the main base, but SCVs are going to die here, and that's for sure.
Yeah. This is a nice little move here by Stephano. He's going to 8 roaches. He's pumping out. He's going to 10. So, and then he's going to drone behind us. So putting on just a little bit extra pressure. And this will pay a lot of dividends, I feel. Hellion's going to run right into these roaches, so it may give... He actually only sees 1 roach, but the fact that he sees roaches at all is enough to think, uh-oh. And it really is uh-oh, because we've had no Marines been building this entire time. There's a tank on the way.
Yeah, this is actually really bad, because he didn't continue to build Hellions here, so he switched over to Tank Marine.
Disastrous. We'll see what Stephano can do here. Most likely win the game right now, but you never know. You know, it's always bad to call that, especially against a player of GanZi's caliber, but I have a feeling this bunker's going to go down pretty fast, and as you said, there will be SCV blood, and the SCV is immediately pulling back from that. There's 10 roaches just smashing their way down onto this bunker, and that's going to be a huge amount of economic loss.
Yeah, all these SCVs are going to die. The tank does come out, so it should be able to push it back eventually here, but so many SCVs have gone down, like 10 more SCVs early on.
Yeah, Stephano's is going to be pushed back, so this was held, of course, but at what cost?
Yeah, exactly 10.
Yeah, 10 workers. Yeah, 20. So that really does blunt this economic edge that GanZi got in the early game and put Stephano in a really great position to go forward. And honestly, I have to wonder if GanZi's in any position to attack in return. I don't think he is. I mean, he swapped back over. He's building another reactor here.
Yeah, what I see from Stephano, with the other reactor here, it's just going to be for another barracks. But
yeah.
What I see from Stephano in recent, I followed a lot of his progress. I think he's got the, I don't know how to describe it, is that when he's expected to win, he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like that when nobody really wants him to win or nobody really thinks he can, then he performs a lot better.
Yeah.
For example, you know, in recent times, Stephano, every tournament he enters is expected to win it now.
Yeah.
And I think that's starting to get to him because he's not performing well recently. You know, he didn't. I mean, I say that, and then he won Lone Star. Like, doesn't make any sense.
He won Lone Star in a very convincing way.
Yeah,
the only one who was a really real speed bump for him, honestly, in Lone Star was Bomber.
Yeah. I mean, but, you know, DreamHack and WCS, he didn't perform well. He lost early on at Hero here again, who he never really loses to.
One could argue he's just been traveling too much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that this is the same problem Huck had, actually. You know, he was winning, he won 2 tournaments in a row, and then he was traveling so much that his performance degraded to the point where he's not considered to be uber top tier in the foreign scene anymore. So it could be happening to Stephano as well. I mean, but going down the loser bracket so early is not that surprising. I mean, it is Hero. You don't mess around with him. He got a pretty tough break there. But Stephano is still looking to take this game, honestly. He's done significant economic damage and is now powering forward with upgrades. A lot of lanes going up to Lair Tech as well. But GanZi, with this 3 command center build, is starting to really ramp up the production here.
Yeah, actually, I casted, or not casted, but I watched Stephano versus Hero. Stephano made a lot of mistakes, but in this game he's made almost 0.
Yeah.
If not 0. I've hardly seen any mistakes from Stephano, apart from the supply bot right now.
Yeah.
That's like his only mistake so far. But apart from that, he's been playing this really well. He's denied the 3rd base, which he knew was obviously going to come down. He's got the infestation pit down and a bunch of drones on the way, and will start 2-2. As mentioned, he does need to get overlords. But apart from that, then he's been playing pretty good.
There we go. 3rd CC has been driven away. And he's actually going to place it there to complete the wall off, which is pretty smart, honestly, at least for the moment. But if that 3rd CC had been allowed to mine, then that would allow GanZi to really power forward with this production. As it stands, he's got a reasonable amount of production, but he can't really build as many Marines as he would like in this situation. He can't get the upgrades that he would necessarily like. We're not actually seeing engineering bay upgrades. There we go. 2-2 starts to kick in just at that moment, and it gives Stephano a slight lead in that regard. There's little swell of lings around the side here, just keeping an eye out for drops by the looks of it, and unfortunately they miss it. There is this drop coming up to the top here and going to the 3rd base, but it looks like Stephano actually is already well prepared for it. Yes, it actually passed an overlord all the way over there, so those lings are ready to receive.
Yeah, they're ready to stop this quite easily. And because of the opening that GanZi went for with the lack of Hellions, he went straight for tanks. He's going to have a much more powerful assault when he hits a 2-2 timing, most likely. But he doesn't have Hellions to prevent the Lings from denying the 3rd base, which we saw. So kind of, you know, has one thing but doesn't have the other. Stephano with Infestors popping out now should push this drop back. And then we're going to start to see, most likely, another drop towards the main base. Is coming into Stephano. And so double drop in action.
Oh, Roach is all ready to receive that, and a Queen and a few Lings ready to receive that. So currently this drop aggression has been completely deflected to this point, but it's still a threat, and there's also this reasonable push here coming in. A couple of medevacs at the front.
Yeah, they just scan and get rid of creep and then get out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually no siege tech yet, so there's no point in trying to make any concerted contain. And GanZi now looking for the drop. He's able to get onto the ground here. The question is, what kind of damage can he really do? They'll take the Queen out by the looks of it, but Stephano's pulling it back quite nicely, and it does finally go down, but a lot of Lings just stream in and say, oh, right, okay, we're just going to eliminate this drop as best we can. Fungal growth goes down to finish it off, and that was almost a... Oh, that was almost a spiteful fungal there, and then the drop into here, and question is, what is it actually focusing on? At the moment, kind of nothing really. We've seen this huge, crazy Hive timing from Stephano that's already gone straight into adrenal glands, and Ultralisk Zergling is going to be the composition, and that should certainly do the job, especially when it's just Marine Tank he's going up against.
No, it definitely will. Definitely will. He's got a great army. A little bit supply blocked again at 152, but apart from that, with the Ultras coming down, he can go straight to the plating. He's going to have a lot of Ling Infestors, but GanZi's not looking to attack here. He's most likely just looking to set up, get a 4th base, get 3-3. The way that he's spending or saving his gas, that looks like the case, but there is a lack of guys on gas on that 3rd for GanZi. He's only got 1 in each. Bit of a mistake.
Yeah, just a little bit, certainly.
Because you need that gas to be able to build tanks, medivacs, and especially Vikings as the game goes on. And he even needs to get extra barracks down, for Marauders, which are going to desperately needed here.
Yeah, he's also... Oh, Lings managed to make their way in there. Nice little sneaky maneuver and get some decent scouting information, go into the middle line, maybe dig away at a few mules. But you're absolutely right there. Not only that, but he's also trying to upgrade 3 things at once, because he's also going for +2 vehicle weapon. So that's a lot of gas that's being drained, which could otherwise be going to a lot of tanks, into double medivacs, of course, and into Marauders, as you pointed out. Still no Marauders yet. Let's see what GanZi actually knows here. GanZi knows about the Hive. Yeah, he also should have seen that spawning pool researching something, and that's only going to be adrenal glands at this stage, which indicates an Ultralisk Zergling build. But he doesn't have the Marauders out yet to actually handle that, and he hasn't spotted any Ultralisks as of yet either.
Yep, so it could be a bit dangerous for him, but of course the initial punch from Stephano is going to be the strongest, and then we'll start to see the extra barracks come down, which we do see. So 3 barracks come down for the Marauders. They each will have a tech lab on, but Stephano's upgrade is very, very strong. We'll be looking to hammer through. And then also from Stephano that's missing, he will want to get Aspire down very shortly, actually, for a transition over to Great Aspire, because the longer the game goes on, the less viable Ultralists become. Because eventually they'll just get overpowered by upgrades and mute Marauders, sorry. So
yeah, and it comes down to the way that the actual Terran macro works as well, is that the longer the game goes on, the more barracks you're going to have, and that's really the only way for Terran to surge a particular type of unit, is just to have more production facilities to deal with it. So if you need to do a bunch of Marauders at once, easy done when you have 12 racks versus, say, 8 or 9. So yeah, we'll see that coming at some point, and there's the Spire beginning as I say that. Baneling speed coming in, so this initial hammer blow is gonna hit pretty hard, and he can't even take his 4th base here, which is really unfortunate. But the question is, where is it going to hit? Is he going to charge at the 4th base? Because that's incredibly well defended.
Stephano can't charge. No way can he charge.
No, it's
even with his
too well
upgrades
set up.
finishing. He'd have to wait for GanZi to move out. But it looks like we do have a drop from GanZi set up at the north. He's got 1 drop making its movement out, and now's his army movement. Roach is, of course, just thrown away there, doesn't need them at all.
Yeah, actually, spent a stim on that as well, a big stim too, so that's not worthwhile.
I think he thought the whole army was there, so he doesn't have coverage down there, which is why he stimmed a lot. Infestors make its way through. Drop on the top left as well.
Yep, tank traded for that. Tank traded for an Infestor and some Infestor Terrans. Not too shabby, and GanZi's drop already deflected at the moment. Just trying his best to find an in, and he's going to see some Ultralisks very shortly, so he's going to know exactly what he's up against.
And now the army movement from GanZi is on its way, and it's going to get positioned on the creep. This is Stephano's opportunity. This is where he needs to go, but he's a little bit too late. This tanks are sieged up, and he has to wait for another chance. But now GanZi can slowly crawl down with these tanks.
Yeah, GanZi's playing really smart here. This is something I've been seeing from a lot of Korean players lately, is that because Fungal is so potent, they very much send like 4 or 5 Marines up to the front and get it in the center. And, well, there's a lot of Lings coming in this direction right here, but there are a huge number of tanks here for GanZi. These Infestors are taking huge amounts of damage. That's a big Fungal up to the right-hand side there. Oh, wow! That's about 20 Marines melting there, and it looked for a second like GanZi would be able to handle that, but those Fungals to the right-hand side absolutely obliterated the Marine count. Lord knows where the medivacs were. There's actually 6 medivacs on the field, and they were just nowhere nearby, unable to actually contribute to that fight at all. So GanZi takes a big hit there from Stephano.
And Stephano now tech switching over. I think the drop on the 3rd base is going on, or at least cleaned up. Okay,
yeah, it's gone.
Cleaned up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the tech switch coming in for Stephano immediately. 7 Corruptors made. He's going straight for the Great Aspire, straight for the Broodlords upon the Marauders entering the battlefield. But there's no Vikings. There's no extra starports. There's no sight for Vikings or Ravens. And this brutal switch actually can win the game.
Yeah, it can.
It really can win the game. And GanZi is making a mistake in not anticipating and not preparing for this switch. This is a very normal switch to happen. As I say that, 2 Ravens are started, so he does have 2 starports. So
durable materials. Wow, an upgrade we barely ever see, actually. And I have to wonder if that was maybe a mistake. I mean, most people don't go for durable materials. It helps.
Yeah.
It allows you, essentially, your Seeker missiles to travel further, but usually it's not that useful. I have to wonder if he's... I'm just going to check.
Okay,
I think that was a mistake, because he hasn't researched Corvid Reactor. I think he misclicked, and he actually clicked durable materials instead of Corvid Reactor.
All right, well, we'll see as this moves on. I guess he won't really look to cancel it anytime soon if he's focused on other things. But
absolutely.
Nevertheless, this army is there in the middle. Stephano's got his Broodlords being morphed. He has a couple of Ultras which are going to die very, very fast. So he's going to look to try and trade them off as easily and as cost efficient as he can. GanZi's going to go through the middle here. Yeah. It's going to be nice for Stephano if GanZi goes through the middle, because he can pincer from different angles quite easily.
Certainly. GanZi just a little bit cautious, knowing that this is a dangerous position to be in, potentially. Currently, he knows where the army is. I mean, there's a lot of infestors that could be caught out here if he's able to do well. The fungal's pretty terrible, actually, from Stephano at the moment. But we'll see how this goes. The Broodlords have now been deployed, and GanZi is aware of what he's up against, and he realized, well, you know what, in this position... Oh, does he actually... Well, he's picked up a lot of his army here, and I have to wonder what he plans on doing with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a mistake or not as he was retreating, but he's going to drop him in the main base. He's going to leave. He's
huge doom
for real.
Drop. All right, yeah, he's not kidding around. And oh, man, GanZi's lack of... He's actually going to be seriously hurt by researching the wrong thing here, because he doesn't have Corvid Reactor. The energy on his Ravens is way, way lower than it should be. So this huge Doom Drop's going to go into the main while he tries to hold on to this base as best he can. He can hold on for a fair amount of time if he actually repairs it, but he's not doing that. And then massive army right in here, and GanZi could be looking to just pick off a lot of tech. Yeah,
that's right. Stephano sending a lot of units home. He's let the Broodlords and Infested Terrans do the damage at the front here, and they will do the damage at the front. But a lot of units going back for Stephano. And he's going to clean it up. But that was a massive stim. I think he's going to try and kill the Broodlords.
He could actually get forward and do it. There's no Infestors on the ground. This is... I don't know what the hell happened to Stephano here, but he's just lost all of his Broodlords because none of his Infestors were on the ground to stop that stim from going forward. I mean, I was worried that GanZi's stuff at the back would just get completely fungled there, but where the hell did the Infestors go?
They went back to deal with that big drop in the main base, and now GanZi moves forward.
This is actually genius. This is actually genius here from GanZi. He did exactly the right thing. And there goes a Seeker missile doing very, very little, but those Corruptors aren't going to do anything right now. Here come the Infestors. Do we have tanks at the back? We don't, and GanZi just runs right into a huge fungal, and it looks like this aggression has been blunted, although significant damage has already been done here.
But Stephano's been on 5 base versus 3 now for a long time, and he's got a lot of money, and he's rebuilding a decent-sized army, and it's here.
All right, so let's see if GanZi can actually deal with this. He's only got 3 tanks on the map. His army count is not looking good at all at the moment. These Infestors aren't going to do anything, but the Ultralisk is just rampaging at the moment, and this entire force is now being pushed back. The second wave of Broodlords has come into effect here, and now GanZi just trying to mine from his fourth, but does he have the army to push back what's coming at him? It doesn't look like he does, really. Viking count is just not there.
Yeah, he's got no kind of anti-air for these Broodlords, only these handful of Marines, and he doesn't have a fungal actually, so he's going to have to use Broodlings. A nice micro from Stephano, bringing back the Orange Health Broodlord, but I think that Stephano's still got this here. It's going to be very close. GanZi's mining a lot of money, he's building a lot of Vikings, but there's 5 Infestors on the way, and as these new ones or old ones generate new energy, I think Stephano should be able to keep the army back. Yeah,
GanZi at the moment is bunching up because he knows that this is the most effective way to survive, and he is holding on in the center here. The army counts are starting to stabilize. GanZi's actually getting the lead that he needs here, but as soon as those fungals come into effect, as you pointed out, that will definitely help out a lot. Although I have to wonder if Stephano is actually deploying too many Infested Terrans here. Yeah. This has swung back in GanZi's favor now. He holds the center effectively, and he's just been throwing Infested Terrans at it all the time. He doesn't have any fungals to stop this from happening. That's a lot of dead Infestors that are about to happen. Great fungal in the center here, but he continues to stem forward, picking off Infestor after Infestor. The Broodlords are actually vulnerable here.
Yeah, but the Marines are too low in health right now. There's only a couple of them, but Vikings from the north as well doing the damage necessary. Stephano, where are the Infestors that popped? They're not here, they're not helping, and if these Broodlords fall, it will only be Ling Infestor against Tank Marine, and GanZi's still got the middle base.
Yeah, he does. He held on to that really, really well indeed. In come the Ultras to try and deal with it, but the huge Marauder count fells one, second one coming down here. This is still incredibly close between these two players. GanZi has done a phenomenal job in holding on.
As well.
Yeah, that's been grabbed immediately, but you know, I have to wonder, you know, these drops and things like that, that's fungal energy he doesn't have. Yeah. The Infestor count is at 9, but they're all on really low energy. And GanZi does have the possibility of coming back into this,
and
but
he's got a base in the bottom right too.
He does, so yeah. This is actually looking great for him.
And if he can land mules, all he needs is minerals right now. He's got so much gas banked up. He can build the Ravens. He just needs mules on that base, and he can actually get back into this game in a comfortable position. Stephano can't allow GanZi to sit back. If GanZi sits back right now, he's the one that will have a lead in this game, not Stephano, because GanZi will have a lot of money to spend all over the place, and even if Stephano can as well, the army at this stage of the game at equal upgrades is going to favor GanZi.
Yes, it will. Yeah, absolutely. It's 3-3 Marines are really, really great to begin with. 3-3 Marines backed up by, I would like to see some Viking upgrades, honestly. He's definitely got the gas to make that happen. So either that or start pumping more Ravens once again. But yeah, GanZi's in a good spot. He's in a really good spot. Stephano might have completely flunked this one. We're going to find out very shortly. This army now being rebuilt for Stephano, mostly Broodlord Infestor with some Ling on the ground here. But GanZi's in a good spot.
Yeah. Good spot. Only 6 Vikings, though.
Yeah.
I don't think GanZi knows exactly what Stephano's building.
He needs to find that out.
Is it, Broodlords? Is it Ultralists? Is his Vikings stopped? If he wanted to face Broodlords, he definitely would want
Scan goes down. He knows now. So.
Yeah, so after these 3 medivacs, I think he's going to go back to Vikings, because he definitely doesn't have enough right now.
No, certainly not. Again, I would still like to see some air upgrades here, especially with +2 Carapace coming in. +0 Vikings are not actually going to do that much against +3 armored Broodlords, especially if Queens were to support for Transfuse in the back, so that could be a bit of a killer there for GanZi, but he's maxed out now, so now would be a time to try and do some damage. Yeah,
do damage, maybe drop the main base again, or drop the back base again. As he's maxed out, he wants to open up some space, definitely for Vikings, but he's got a lot of Marines. Stephano's upgrades, though, Corruptors aren't going to die in this game.
No, they're not.
They're just not going to die.
Yeah, they're super tough, and what I'm also worried about is, these Broodlords, when they get +3, they're going to have +3 on that, and the Broodlings will have +3. He's basically betting in all on Broodlords at the moment, and GanZi has got to get the composition to be able to deal with that. And currently, it's not bad, but it's a really risky comp to the point where a few Fungals could just end this army.
Yeah.
No ghosts, so no way to really deal with Infestors here. He's relying entirely on this. GanZi is maxed out still, and he's doing nothing with it. This is really concerning now, because, as you said, it was good for GanZi to hold back and get the maxed out army, mine, but now he has this window where he could attack, but he needs to figure out where so that he doesn't get caught out by Infestors.
Says the Infestor.
Yeah. Scan being used. It's alright, plenty of orbital commands there, so it's not too big, and there we go, picks up. Oh, that was so unbelievably clutch. That's not even funny. That was really good, the Infestor managing to get that. That's a lot of Marines that are about to die as a result of that Infestor's last-ditch attack, and this CC is definitely going to go down here. What does GanZi do? GanZi can't just sit around.
6 Vikings, though. That is good. After those Marines that died, gave their lives.
Trade for Vikings.
Came back as Viking pilots.
Yep, that's reincarnation, man. That's it in action, and now GanZi will have the opportunity to mess around with his army comp. His +1 ship weapons is about to complete. He's probably going to need more than that, especially with +3 flyer Carapace coming in, but he's still in an okay spot, certainly. I'd like to see some aggression from him, and he looks like he's going to move towards the 4th.
I still prefer Stephano's position here with these upgrades now. Stephano has an edge in his upgrades. He's going to move up to intercept this army. Despite this base going down, Stephano
that fungal is absolutely massive. That was unbelievably... that's disgusting. That should be illegal. And quite frankly, GanZi's now going to be pushed back in a really nasty way. He's going to lose Medivacs here by the looks of it as well. That engagement for GanZi completely failed, and fungal growth shuts down that attack completely.
He did pick off 2 bases, one base, because that one survived, but he did pick off the south base. Only just survived, 46 hit points.
Yeah.
But Stephano's got an army which I really don't think can be beaten right now. Despite the amount of Vikings, they do have +1 attack, but it doesn't matter. If Stephano controls his army correctly, and all he needs to do is, the Broodlords need to A move, as funny as that sounds, they need to attack move.
Yeah.
Infestors have to be controlled well, and the Corruptors need to bring down the Vikings. If Stephano does that 1, 2, 3, the game is his. It doesn't matter about Ravens, it doesn't matter about Vikings. Stephano's army is too strong, I feel, and we're about to feel the brunt of that, because Stephano can even take an attack downhill. He can fight off the high ground now. He's that comfortable.
I also don't like the fact that GanZi's Raven count is going to be so low. I mean, maybe some PDDs will come into effect here, but we're not going to be seeing Seeker Missile, which is a great way of dealing with those large balls of Corruptors and actually doing significant damage to Broodlord balls. And at this point, as you said, this army is very, very difficult to beat. GanZi doesn't really have the numbers. Forced to lift off of the 4th here. It's been mined out for ages anyway. Hasn't been able to mine here. This is only really functional mining base, and it's completely oversaturated. And let's see what the engagement brings as GanZi moves in.
Yeah, Stephano's found the army. Fungals are going to be big.
Oh, and they are.
They're big.
Yes, they're huge. Absolutely huge. And GanZi eats some big damage there. Hasn't gone down as of yet. The medevacs are doing a good job of holding that. If he could break through and get into the middle of those infestors, that would be wonderful, as the Broodlord's kind of distracted up to the top here. But GanZi's army just collapsed. GG, or indeed G, ladies and gentlemen, for that. Yeah, he was not so happy about that one. First game of this best-of-3 series, eventually going to Stephano, but I mean,
took a while.
It did, actually. If I'm totally honest, I wasn't exactly impressed by Stephano's performance there. Just in terms of how long it took him to make it happen, how many mistakes he made. I think GanZi made more mistakes. Yeah. This is don't think there's any real question about that, but he could have finished that a lot quicker. GanZi was looking strong for the majority of that game. I feel he had opportunities. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he had a lot of opportunities, but it is very difficult to play at this level, at this stage of the tournament in the lower bracket. I mean, it's all or nothing for both of these players now.
Yeah.
If GanZi loses this next game, he's out of the tournament. So we're about to find out which map it's going to be.
Yep.
I think that GanZi has the possibility to